be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Do not bring us to the test, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Okay, kindly turn on your video for the meantime. And okay, hello.
Good morning.
Okay, yes. Natutumang kita nga permi may ada medyo mauran-uran. So I hope yung natin ngayon ay hindi maging gaanong affected yung internet signal. Sana hindi ito magluko, just like unlike before yung first yung first online class. Okay, so I will be sharing my screen. Okay. Before we go to our lesson this morning, which is about current, voltage, and resistance, let's deal first with significant figures. Are you familiar with significant figures? Okay, can anybody, so yung familiar, please raise your hand so I can, ma-acknowledge ko ikaw. Anybody? Okay, kasi significant figures, knowing that significant figure is very important since we will be computing, we'll be dealing with problem solving later on. So kailangan alam nyo talaga kung ano yung significant figures. Walang may familiar? Okay, so some significant figures, so ito yung numbers that are considered to be significant. Ibig sabihin, they're important. Okay? Okay, so I want you to identify the number of significant figure in the following values. Okay, number 1, 234 kilometers. Ilan ang number na significant figure? Okay, hindi pa to graded recitation. Ano ko lang kung ang knowledge ninyo regarding significant figure.
3.
Anybody?
3.
Okay, there are 3 significant figures in this value. 234 kilometers. Again, may 3 significant figures. Okay. All non-zero digits, lahat ng mga non-zero digits are considered to be significant. Lahat ng mga non-zero, okay? Dito sa number 8, how many number of significant figures are there?
2. 6.
Okay, answer is 6. So there are 6 significant figures. Take note of that, ha? Sa number 8, nano lang yan kasi sa pag-ano pa ng presentation. So 40.0100 milliamperes has 6 significant figures. Let's move on to the next. 1,023 kilograms. How many significant figures are there?
4.
Okay, so correct. There are 4 significant figures in number 2. Going back. In number 2, there are two non-zero digits and one zero digit there. Ano? So yung 0 is between two non-zero digits. So that 0 is significant. So lahat ng mga middle zeros or zeros located between two non-zero digits, they are considered to be significant. Ang tawag sa kanila ay mid-zeros. Okay, number 3. How many significant figures?
4.
Okay, so there are 6 significant figures in number 3. Okay, 6. Very good. Number 4. How many significant figures? We have 0.00023 seconds.
2.
Okay, so number 4 has only 2 significant figures. Dalawa lang yung significant figures sa number 4. Okay, so yung zeros, yung leading zeros are not significant. So lahat ng mga leading zeros are not significant. Take note. Leading zeros are not significant. Number 5. There are 2,000 students.
1.
2,000 students.
Only one significant figure.
Okay, so 1. Okay, the correct answer is 4. There are 4 significant figures in number 4. Number 5, sorry, in number 5. 2,000 students. Okay, so this 2,000 students is an exact number. So kapag tinawag na exact number, so these are numbers or value that were derived from counting. So yung kinakount. So lahat ng mga numbers dyan, lahat ng mga digits dyan ay significant, including zeros. Okay? Number 6. How many significant figure?
3.
3.
Okay, 300 meter, the value is a measured number. So this is their measured numbers, meaning ginagamitan ng measuring instrument para makuha yung value. So yung number 6, meron siyang 2 zeros na nasa hulihan. Okay. So these zeros, itong zeros na yan, ang tawag sa kanila ay tail zeros. Tail. Okay. So yung tail zeros could be significant or may not be significant. So yung tail zeros ay significant lang kung indicated na significant siya. Unless indicated, tail zeros are not significant. So here, so there's no indication that the zeros are significant. Walang walang symbol na mag-indicate na sila ay significant. Therefore, hindi sila significant. So there is only one significant figure in number 6. Isa lang yung significant figure sa number 6. Okay, ano yung mga indication na yung tail zeros are significant? The decimal point. Okay, so kapag may decimal point, so there is a decimal point and there is a non-zero digits prior to the decimal point, the tail zeros are considered significant. So in number 7, ilan ang significant figures?
4.
Okay, so there are 4 significant figures in number 4. Okay, so nakuha nyo na yung significant figures. Pag-identify ng significant figures again, lahat ng mga non-zero digits are significant. Mapa-measured yan or mapa-measured numbers siya or measured value or exact numbers, lahat sila ay significant. Ang zeros naman, so yung zeros, sila yung pwedeng maging significant and pwede ring hindi maging significant. So significant sila if they are mid-zeros, if they're considered to be mid-zeros, or nag-ano sila, part sila ng exact number. And kapag may decimal point prior to the zero, meaning there is a non-zero digits prior to the decimal point, so yung zero ay significant. Meron ding iba na ginagamitan ng line bar sa taas. So may drawingan, linalagyan ng bar sa taas. It's also an indication that the zeros are significant. Okay? So bakit kailangan yung malaman yung significant figures? Okay, kasi when you are writing the final answer in a problem solving, kailangan nyo i-apply yung tamang pagsulat ng as to how many significant figures your final answer should have. Okay. So in division and multiplication, sa division and multiplication, your final answer should follow or should have the least number of significant figure from the given values. So kailangan yung final answer mo, yung pagsulat mo, ay the same yung kanyang number of significant figure doon sa may pinaka-least na number of significant figure sa given na value. For example, ito, Mario run a 250-meter track in 20 seconds. Find his average speed. Okay, so we have the given. The total distance traveled by Mario is 250 meters. And yung duration ng track na yan is 20 seconds. So what is required is the average speed. So equation for finding the average speed is the total distance traveled divided by time. Okay, solution. So 250 meters, which is the value of the total distance, divided by 20 seconds. So yung answer, if you use your calculator, ang lalabas dyan ay 20.50 meters per second. 250 meters. How many number of significant figure is present?
3.
Ilan?
2.
Okay. Okay, so dalawa lang. 2 and 5 are significant figures or numbers here in this value. Yung 0 is not significant. Okay, so at 250 meters, 2 significant figures. What about the time? Ilan yung significant figures sa 20 seconds?
2. Dalawa. 2.
Wow.
1.
1.
There is only 1. Again, yung 0 dito is tail 0. Yung mga zeros dito sa problem ay mga tail zeros. So unless they are indicated to be significant, they are not significant. Okay? So ilan yung least number of significant figure sa ating given? What is the least number of significant? Okay, so 1. So your final answer should only have 1 significant figure. Nakuha? So the accepted answer here is 10 meters per second, not 12.5 meters per second. Nakuha? Question?
Ma'am, how did it keep 10?
Okay, bakit Okay, so kailangan natin yung final answer magkaroon lang ng 1 significant figure since the least number of significant figure based from our given is only 1. 1 significant figure lang dapat. Okay, so from your calculator, if you divide 250 meters divided by 20, ang lalabas ay 12.5. Ang 12.5, there are how many significant figures?
3.
Ilan?
3.
3. Okay, so tatlo. So hindi pa siya yung final. Kasi yung final answer should only have one significant figure. So magra-round off ka. So you have to round that off. So you have to you will round off to one significant figure. Meaning, yung 2 and 5, kailangan mo yan tanggalin. Pero hindi yan na tatanggalin talaga na tatanggalin. So you have to apply yung pag-round off, yung rule of rounding off. So yung i-round off mo, yung anuhin mo is only one significant figure. So yung dito lang sa 1, yung first digit lang yung dapat matira, yung maging significant. So applying the rule of significant figure, remove yung 2 and 5 na digits. So magiging since 2 is less than 5, so 2 ay less than 5, so the preceding number, which is the one na i-round off mo, ay i-retain mo lang yung kanyang value. And then, replace zeros. Okay? Papalitan mo lang ng 0. Nakuha? Pero yung value niya, yung value ng figure na i-retain mo ay dapat the same lagi ha. If it's hundreds, dapat hundreds siya. If it's tens, tens hiya. Nakuha? So yung value ng decimal value ng 1 dito is tens. So pag round off mo, tens lagi hapitiya value. Nakuha. So yun. Another question. Or clarification, yung hindi pa medyo nakakaintindi, okay lang magtanong. Again, division and multiplication. In writing your final answer, you should follow the least number of significant figures from the given values. Okay na? Okay, kung okay na, mag-thumbs up. Okay. So in addition and subtraction, who would like to read? Sino yung pwedeng magbasa? Volunteer, who would like to read the problem? Sorry, yung rule pala. In addition and subtraction. Wala. Wala mag-volunteer. Okay, I have Alison May. Okay, please read. Ano yung magiging rule natin when we add or subtract numbers or values? You have to follow what? Wala.
Follow the least number of decimal place.
Okay, so your final answer should follow the least number of decimal places. Example, Ryan and Ray, nakulangan ako ng A. Ryan and Ray pushes a cart full of grocery items with 25.5 Newton and 19.65 Newton respectively. So what is the net force exerted on the cart? Okay, so these are the given. The force exerted by Brian, 25.5 Newton, and the force exerted by Ray, which is equal to 19.65 Newton, required if net. So the net force. So yung net force from your first lesson in this quarter, so you just add the vector component. Yan, F1 plus F2 or force exerted by Brian plus force exerted by ray
Sa
gives
lagyan
us the
ng
total net
cellphone.
force. Okay,
Sa lagyan
solution.
ng cellphone,
So,
ma.
yan na. Who is
Natuod.
talking?
Ma! Sa lagyan din ng cellphone.
Who is talking? Sino yan?
Jessica muted.
Okay. Yan. So, yung solution, you just add the value forces algebraically, meaning you have to include the sign, yung direction ng force. So since yung direction nila ay parehas, yung pag-exert ng force ni Brian and Ray, parehas yung kanilang direction. So we have here, they are both positive, indicated to be positive. So 25.5 Newton plus 19.65 Newton, again, using your calculator, you'll get this value of 45.15 Newton. Okay. So dito sa given, yung value ng force na inexert ni Brian, ilang number of decimal places?
1.
1. Okay. Yung kay Ray?
2.
Yung kay Ray?
2.
Okay, 2. So your final answer should have the least number of decimal places. So katulad ng kay Brian. So your final answer is 45.2 Newton. So this is the accepted answer, 45.2 Newton. Nakuha? Okay, kasi dito, sa 45.15, 2 decimal places yan. So mag-apply ka na naman ng rounding, i-apply mo na naman yung rounding off para maging 1 decimal place lang yung final answer mo. Okay? May tanong or clarification? Okay, huwag kayong mahiya.
Ma'am, waray
Warayano? Okay na?
kabat.
Okay. Let's proceed to our... Nangalimot na naman akmag. Okay.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Unstable. Okay, so for our lesson this morning, we have the content standard. Okay, so we'll be dealing with voltage, current, resistance relationship, the electric power, electricity at home, and home circuit. So I hope ma-cover up natin lahat yan sa session natin this morning. Okay, the competency, infer the relationship between current and voltage. Okay, by the way, hindi lang current and voltage, but also include natin sa resistance. And number 2, explain the advantages and disadvantages of series and parallel connections in homes. Okay, that's the code. Okay, so these are the specific objectives of our class this morning. Yan, state the relationship, but di ko nakikita. State the relationship between, pakibasa nga. Somebody kasi naka-cover yung screen ko ng nakita at mga objectives. Pakibasa, can I have Yuhin yung malinaw? Kindly read our objectives. Please read our specific objectives. Yuhin nyo.
State the relationship
Lahat.
between
1, 2, 3.
state the relationship between and this is calculate.
Okay, recall. What are the two types of electric charges? Anybody? Okay,
What
you
are
may rate.
types of
Rate.
electric charger? Ay, charger.
Positive and negative.
Ano mo ko?
Volts.
Ha? Sino yung kay sa ano na
Positive and negative.
raise
ma'am.
hand icon? O nandito sa more? Charges. Charges.
Positive and negative.
Okay, very good. The positive and negative. So yan lang yung types of, yung general types of electric charges. Saan, anong particle in the atom yung may daladalang negative charge?
Electron.
Okay, very good. What about the positive charge?
Proton.
Proton.
Okay, protons. Okay, take note na yung protons nasa nucleus siya, mahirap siyang ma-remove from the nucleus ha. Yung mga protons doon, mahirap silang matanggal because of the binding energy. Electrons in an atom, especially the valence electrons, sila yung madaling matanggal from the atom. So yung responsible for chemical reactions, for bonding, chemical bonding. So yung mga electrons yung responsible. Okay. So yung free electrons can, they are free to move from one atom to another. Kasi yung kanilang bond, yung kanilang bond doon sa nucleus ay hindi gaanong malakas. So madali silang matanggal, madali silang makuha from the atom. So if the atom loses an electrons or electrons, the atom itself will become electrically charged. So ano magiging tawag sa atom na yan na natanggalan ng electrons, na or the electrons were ejected
Positively
from
charged.
the atom. Okay, yes, maging positively charged siya. Ano specifically ano yung magiging pangalan niya? Anong maging tawag? Ang tawag ay cation. Okay? So if the atoms gains an electric charge, ang maging tawag sa kanila ay ions. So yung ions could be cation. The other one, ano yung isa?
An ion.
Okay, correct. Anion. Okay? So anion naman, opposite siya doon sa cation. So if cation loses electrons, anion naman, siya yung nagre-receive ng electrons. So mas naging more negative siya, mas marami yung electrons kesa sa kanyang protons na nandoon sa nucleus. So magiging anion. Cut electrons. Okay. How an atoms become electrically charged? How an atom becomes electrically charged? Anybody? Yung mga sinabi na ni ma'am earlier. Yes, Chad? Chad.
The number of electrons or protons stops being equal.
Okay, so if the number of protons and electrons are not equal, yes, ano naman yung process? How do you call that process para ma-unequal yung number ng protons and electrons in an atom? Andrea. Yes, Andrea? Andrea.
Electrons.
Again? Andrea? Please repeat. Please repeat.
Trons.
Wala, di ko marinig. Again? Again. Pakiulit.
Of electrons.
Electrons. Okay, so if there is a transfer of electrons or movement of electrons from one atom to another.
Atom.
Okay, sige. So ang tawag dyan, class, okay, meron tayong tawag dyan sa chemistry, kapag nag-ano kayo ng mga mix ng mga different substances, chemically reactive, ang tawag dyan ay ionization. Ionization, okay? In electricity naman, merong simple na pag-charge ng atom. Kasi yung electrons, they can be easily removed from the atom, from the material, it can be done through rubbing. So kapag nag-rub ka or you rub something, if you rub a material to another material, you actually nagtra-transfer ka ng electrons. Ang tawag dyan ay, anong tawag doon? Yung rubbing, so that is conduction. Okay, through rubbing, kapag nagra-rub ka ng material, or kahit lang sa palm mo, you can remove some of the electrons in your palm and they may transfer from one material to another. Especially kapag magkaiba yung kanilang electronegativity or magkaiba yung ibig sabihin magkaibang material sila. Like paper and wood or cloth and plastic. So if you do that, you actually transferring electrons from one material to another. So it could be from the plastic to the cloth or from the cloth to the plastic. So depende kung sino dyan yung mag-share kasi ngayon na yung paraghatagan electrons. So makikita natin yan, you can also search for that. So yung electronegativity ng material. So there are specific electronegativity for materials, particular materials. Okay, so charge. So we've been mentioning electric charge. So yung electric charge is one of the fundamental quantities in physics. Fundamental quantity siya. Ang kanyang symbol ay usually it's a lowercase q. So ito yung electric charge again as a quantity, yung kanyang symbol ay q. its basic unit is coulomb. Ang symbol ng coulomb ay C. Take note of the symbols of quantities and their units. Okay, 1 coulomb is equivalent to 6.24 times 10 to the 18th power number of electrons. So it's maraming electrons yung magpo-comprise ng isang coulomb na charge. More than billions. Ilan yan? 6.20, that's 624 and then 16 zeros. Yan. Masyadong madami, ha? Okay. Okay, electric current. Ano ang electric current? Sino yung nakakakita sa screen? Ako hindi ko makita yung screen ko. Please read the definition of electric current. Meron na bang definition dyan?
Electric current is the rate of
electric charge.
electric charges.
Okay, the rate of
Flow of
flow
electric
of
charges.
electric charges. Ano yung electric charges? Yung positive and negative. Okay, in electricity, ano yung responsible dito? Ano dito yung sabi natin, yung pinaka-starring na charge? Is it the positive or the negative?
Negative.
The negative. It's the
Negative.
okay, negative, which is the electrons. Kaya nga dito electricity from electrons. Okay, nanggaling sila sa electrons. So electric current primarily is dito sa electricity is actually the rate of flow of electrons in a circuit. Okay, the basic unit, we have ampere. Nandito yung symbol, nakikita niyo yung symbol ng electric current as a quantity. Anong kanyang symbol?
Ampere.
Anong, no, electric current.
Electric current.
Okay, that's capital I ha. Capital I. Okay. Ang unit ng electric current ay ampere. Ang kanyang symbol ay uppercase na A. So kapag nakakita kayo ng number na may kasamang A, yan ay electric current. Ang value na yan ay sa electric current. Okay, 1 ampere is equivalent to 1 coulomb per second. So yung A is equal to coulomb per second. Coulomb per second ay ampere. This is the expanded form of the unit ampere. Okay, yan. 1 ampere is equivalent to 1 coulomb per second. Okay. So from the definition, electric current is the rate of flow of electric charges. So we have it here in this equation. I is equals to Q over T. Where I is the electric current, Q is the amount or magnitude of charge in coulomb, of course, and T is time. Okay, hindi na ako mag-elaborate dito kasi nasa earlier part pa ito ng lesson. I am assuming na na-encounter nyo na to, itong I is equals to Q over T. Okay, so dito nakuha yung coulomb per second ha. Q, the electric charge, ang kanyang unit ay C. The unit of time is S. So that's what we have it here. So I is Q over T, that is coulomb per second. Okay, so yung electric current, the unit of electric current is actually taken from the name of a French physicist. Sino siya?
Andre Ampere.
Okay, hindi complete 6. Andre Marie Ampere. Ayan. Andre Marie Ampere. Okay, so he contributed to the development of electromagnetism. Okay, so he's the main discoverers of electromagnetism, si Ampere. So mayroon siyang Ampere's law, hindi ko yan i-elaborate dito. So yung unit ng, ang ano ko lang is, yung unit ng Ampere is taken from Andre Marie Ampere. Okay, para alam nyo kung saan nanggaling yung Ampere na unit. Okay, and for the current, so there is a device that is used to measure the electric current. Ang tawag dyan ay ammeter. Yung device na nagme-measure ng electric current is ammeter. Okay, so what causes the electric current or electric charges to flow? Ano yung makakapagpa-flow or makakapagpa-move ng electric charges? Para magkaroon ng electric current, dapat merong ano? What causes an electric charges to flow? O para magkaroon ng electric current, ano yung needed? So there must be voltage. Okay? Voltage. So yung voltage, ito yung electron pusher. So siya yung nagpo-push ng electrons para sila na mag-move. Kasi hindi mo na pwedeng i-rub lang na, dito nyo, tayo yung mag-guide sa mga electrons na mag-move. Okay, hindi natin kaya yan. So pwede lang tayo mag-provide ng voltage source. Ano yung mga voltage source natin? So we have batteries, generators, electrolytic batteries or yung mga dry cells, so mga batteries. So sila yung mga voltage source. Okay, so meron tayong dalawang klase ng voltage. We have the potential difference and electromotive force. Okay, but nevertheless, yung kanilang definition ay paru-parehas sila. Pero yung kanilang manifestations ay magkaiba. Hindi na lang ko na lang i-elaborate dito ha. Yung general na lang the definition ng voltage. Yung difference ng electromotive and potential difference, later nyo na lang yan as you go higher in studying electricity. So voltage is the amount of work done on a charge. So kapag nag-work ka, if you're working, you're exerting energy. So kapag nag-work ka, you're actually converting energy from one form to another. Or it is the amount of energy transferred to a charge. Okay, sources of voltage, we have battery, generator, outlet. So whenever you kapag you connect an appliance to the outlet, you're actually using a voltage source. Pero if we are going to trace that out, i-trace natin yan kung saan nanggaling yung electricity that yung sa outlet ay iano tayo sa generator. Galing talaga yan sa generator, sa mga power plants. Generators ng mga power plants. Okay, so the basic unit of voltage. By the way, voltage, ang kanyang symbol, yung quantity symbol niya ay V. I forgot to write it here. Ang kanyang symbol again ay V, capital V. Sa quantity na voltage ha. Okay, basic unit of voltage is volt. Symbol, capital V, daman, and voltage. So yung kanyang unit symbol and quantity symbol magparihas, but you have to kailangan yung ma-distinguish kung ano dyan yung quantity at ano ang value. Value siya kapag ang symbol ay may number. Ha? May kasamang number, meaning value yon. So the symbol there corresponds to the unit. And we can identify the quantity based on the unit. Okay, 1 volt is the same as joule per coulomb or J over C. Okay, so ito yon from the definition, amount of work done on a charge. So we have V, the voltage, is equal to the amount of work done on a charge. So that's W over Q. Okay, where V is the voltage, W is the work done, and Q is the magnitude of charge kung saan yung work ay minanifest. That's why we have this unit, joule per coulomb. So W, yung unit ng work, is same as energy, ay joule, and the unit of charge is coulomb. So you have joule per coulomb, or that is equivalent to volt. Okay, so saan kinuha yung name ng unit ng voltage? So it's taken from this Italian physicist. Sino siya?
Alessandro
Volta.
Okay, si Alessandro
Volta.
Volta. So aside from that, he also invented the first battery. So siya yung unang naka-imbento ng first battery, electrochemical cell, in 1800s. Again, ano yung na-invent ni Alessandro Volta?
Electrochemical cell.
Okay, electrochemical cell.
Battery.
And then nag-evolve na yan ha. Tapos ngayon meron na tayong dry cell na may size AA, size D, size C, iba-iba yung laki, or meron na tayong square na battery, hindi na lang yung parang cylinder yung kanyang antitsura, di ba? So nag-evolve na yan. And then kung isa-search nyo yung battery ni Alessandro Volta, it's very far from the battery na nakikita natin. But the concept is parihas. Ang tawag dyan ay innovation. So nag-innovate, nag-evolve through innovations. Okay, so how does the voltage relate to the electric current? So based from our discussion, from the definition of voltage, that it is the pusher of electrons or electric charges. So definitely meron silang relationship. They're very much related to each other. Okay. So which one is dependent between electric current and voltage? Asan
Electric current.
dependent? Is it the electric current ang independent?
Voltage is
So which one is
independent.
dependent and which one is dependent?
Electric current is dependent. Voltage is independent.
Okay, that's correct. So voltage is the independent variable there, while electric current is the dependent variable. So electric current primarily depends on voltage. Ibig sabihin, kapag walang current, it means na walang voltage. Okay? So para magkaroon ng electric current, kailangan ng voltage. Okay, so pwede rin ba na no current pero may voltage? Walang current pero may voltage. Is it possible?
B is possible.
Okay. How? Give an example. So sino yung nagsasalita? So give an example. If B is possible, is B possible? Give an example. Raise your hand. Wala. Who was talking? Okay. So B is possible. So kapag hindi ka nagsaksak ng appliance sa outlet, merong voltage pa rin doon sa outlet. Okay? wala lang current. Sa outlet lang itself ha, pero kung anuhin natin i-trace, didahan mga lines that the wires, before yan umabot doon sa outlet, may actually current. Pero when kapag yung isang appliance, hindi mo isaksak hindi mo i-connect sa outlet, so walang electric current na mag-flow doon sa appliance. Like yung electric fan. Pag hindi mo yan isaksak sa outlet, walang electric current na mag-flow sa electric fan. So hindi siya mag-work. Okay? So pwede yung letter B. Pwede siya. Letter C. With current, with voltage. Possible?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
of course. So dito,
Yes.
kinonect na kapag hindi brown out ha, kung hindi brown out. Pero kung brown out, kahit mo isaksak yung appliance doon sa outlet, wala pa rin talagang kuryente kasi yung main maisa na namang part sa transmission, yung cut off yung electricity. Okay? So yung letter C, sinaksak na yung appliance sa outlet na hindi naman brown out na may kuryente ha. So yan. So primarily, the current is very much dependent with voltage. So what is the relationship between these two quantities? Is it directly or inversely proportional? Okay, what do you think will happen to the current if we increase the voltage? Kapag mataas yung voltage, ano ang masasabi ninyo regarding the amount of electric current present? Daka o gute?
Dako.
Daka.
Okay, so kapag mataas yung voltage, mataas yung voltahe, it's ang ibig sabihin niyan ay malaki din or mataas din yung electric current dyan. Okay? Kapag maliit yung voltage, low voltage, meaning low gihap and electric current. Small yung electric current. Yes, that's correct. So, ano yung relationship nila? Is it directly or inversely?
Directly.
Okay, it's directly proportional. Take note of that, ha? Voltage is directly proportional to electric current. So if voltage increases, current increases. If voltage decreases, current decreases. Kasi voltage, siya yung nagpupush, ha? Okay, siya yung okay, bakit yung makikita ninyong mga signages ay high voltage, hindi high current? Before that, ano yung nakakapag-cause ng electrocution? Is it the voltage or the current?
Current.
Okay, so it's the current. Siya yung nakakatalaga ng damage, the current. Pero doon sa mga signages, it's written high voltage, not high current. Why do you think? Bakit high voltage? Yung mga nagpakasulat sa mga signages, like sa Isamelco, kapag magdadaan kayo dyan sa may substation sa Isamelco, makita ka mo nga high voltage. Or doon sa mga generators, like G&F or Uptown Mall, na kanilang malaking generator, may surat dito, high voltage. Okay, anybody? Sino yung nagsasalita? Okay, raise your hands para ma-acknowledge, ma-recognize. Okay, sino at? Oh, is this, sino to?
Chad, ma'am.
Okay, Chad. Okay, Chad. Bakit high voltage, not high current? Yes, Chad?
Kay mas mataas nga lit voltage, mas dako damit current. So mas fatal it
Chad,
Mas fatal
go
kasi sa
on.
taong dapat voltage. Kaya dapat current, dapat manamit current, kasi ba?
Choppy si Chad. Or bangin lahat. What about yung iba? Clear ba yung sinabi ni Chad?
No, ma'am.
Kabati.
Po nga din.
Oh.
Chad,
Yes, ma'am.
pakiulit. Please repeat.
Because ma'am, the higher the voltage, mamanakit na may current,
Okay, so
fatal.
okay, psychologically, mas nakakatakot talaga yung voltage. So, kasi we always associate voltage to electricity. Kapag electric current, hindi pa masyadong maano yung kanyang impact. Hindi ka pa matatakot. Kumbaga, mas makaharadlak, mas nakakatakot yung voltage na word kaysa sa electric current. So if it is emphasized that it's a high voltage area, ay ibig sabihin yung amount na ma-generate na electric current ay malaki din. Okay? Question? Wala na? Okay. So, but aside from the voltage, there is another quantity na nagdi-dictate ng amount ng current. Hindi lang voltage. So, may ada pa isa. Ang tawag dyan ay resistance. Okay? Hindi ibig sabihin na mataas na yung voltage class na hataas na naman ang current, nga dakagyap ang current. So, pwede ang electric current bisan hataas ang voltage magmaguti. Bisan hataas ang voltage, the electric current is still guti due to this one, resistance. Okay? Kapag mataas yung resistance, kapag mataas yung resistance, magmamaguti naman ang electric current. So resistance, which is another quantity, ang kanyang symbol ay capital R. It is the one that opposes the flow of electric charges. Siya yung nag-o-oppose. From the word itself, resistance. Ma-oppose permihiya. Okay? Ang kanyang basic unit ay ohm. Ang kanyang symbol ay omega. It's a Greek letter, omega. Okay, take note ha. Okay, so yung Ohm's law equation, Ohm's law, which states that the current in the circuit is directly proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance. Okay, in equation, we have here I is equals to V over R. I is the current and V voltage, R resistance. So dapat alam nyo na yun ha. Okay, so we can also express this Ohm's law in terms of voltage. Voltage is the product of current and resistance. So the relationship na siya lagi ha. Resistance is equals to voltage over the current. Sandali, excuse lang muna ha kasi wait. Mag-brown out ako. Excuse mo na. Yes. Wait. Ayun, ano nga din. Okay. Okay. Sorry na lulubat na aking laptop. Balik tayo, shares. Okay. So current is, again, directly proportional to voltage and is inversely proportional to the resistance. Okay. By the way, class, nandito yung table of quantities with their symbols, unit and unit symbol. And by the way, you can have this, pwede kayo gumawa ng ganito in your notebook, yung table of quantities. So nakasulat dyan yung mga different quantities, yung kanilang symbol, their unit and unit symbols. Para madali ninyo ma-identify, especially doon na sa problem solving, makakatulong ito para mapadali niyo ma-identify kung ano yung mga given na quantities based on the units doon, yung units involved in the problems or yung mga values involved in the problems. Wala, yung time, sorry class, time is lowercase na t. Ba't ito naging capital? Time is lowercase na t. Okay, so let's have an example. Sample problem number 1. How much current? Hindi ko talaga mabasa. Can I have Hannah Josette, please read the problem.
How much current is flowing on a lamp with a resistance of 40 ohm when the voltage across the lamp is 15 volt?
Okay, so applications na to ng Ohm's law. Okay, so yung una niyong dapat gawin is to identify the given quantities. And paano natin ma-identify ang given na quantities doon sa problem? How can we identify them? Paano natin ma-identify na its resistance, its voltage, its current, na given, na mga given? Paano natin ma-identify?
Because of the
Na it's for resistance, it's for voltage, it's for electric current.
symbol.
Unit symbols.
Okay, sa unit symbol. So, ma-identify natin sa unit symbol. Okay? So, dito we have 40 ohms. And yung 40, may kasama siyang symbol. At yung symbol niya ay, pwede ka mo kumulaw ng adtuhan hand table of quantities, look for that symbol, and look for the quantity with that symbol. Ano? So, kung ohm, that is resistance. And doon sa given, you just only write the symbol of the quantity and its value. So, resistance is equals to 40 ohms. And another given is voltage. So, nandito 15V. So, yung V na yan, it stands for volts. So, yung volts ay unit ng voltage. So, ibig sabihin, yung 15 volts na to ay value ng voltage. So, voltage is 15 volts. Okay, and din dito na, identify nyo na agad kung ilan yung significant figures bawat value. Okay, so yung 40 ohm, ilan yung significant figure? How many significant figures sa 40 ohm?
1.
Tra?
1.
Okay, 1. Very good. It has only 1. 15 volts, ilan ang significant figure?
2.
2.
2. Okay, so yan. So the least number of significant figure is 1. 1
One.
ano? Okay. So what is required in our problem here? It's the
1.
current, the value of the electric current. So equation I is equals to V over R. Solution, so we have it here. 15 volts divided by 40 ohms. From your calculator, ang lalabas ay 0.375 amperes. Okay, kasi ang unit ng current ay ampere, so your final answer should have a unit ampere. Okay. So how many significant figure dito? Dito sa pag inano sa calculator, yung 0.375. Ilan ang number na significant figure dyan?
3.
It has 3 significant figures. So ano ang sabi natin? When we divide or multiply, the final answer should have the same number of significant figure as to the least number of significant figure from the given. At ano ang least number of significant figure doon sa given?
1.
1. So your final answer should have 1 significant figure only. So you have to round off your final answer para maging isang significant figure lang siya. So the final and accepted answer is 0.4 amperes. Question? May tanong? Clarification? Just raise your hand. O, sino yung nakakuha ng the same na sagot? I am assuming na nagsagot na kayo doon, nagsumagot na ba kayo doon sa week 7 and 8 na lesson doon sa binigay sa inyo
Yes,
na module?
ma'am.
Sino yung nakakuha ng same answer?
Week 7 pa lang po, ma'am.
Week 7 pa lang. Oh, yes. Di ba
Natapos
nandito
ko na
yun?
po lahat.
Sino yung nakakuha ng parehas na sagot? Nasa problem kasi ito doon. Ito yung inano ko na sample problem. Okay, very good. Si Chad, Alexi, who else? Zoe, ayan, very good. Okay. 0.4 amperes din yung sagot nyo? Or 0.375?
Anak, final answer, ma'am, 0.4 amperes.
Okay, so that's correct. Okay. So kasi tatlong problem solving ata yun, 3, di ba? So yung dalawa, sagutan nyo na lang. Same yung process, parehas nga process, and pag ano, pero yung equation, yan, depende kung ano yung required by the problem, ha? So nandun naman lahat yung equations ng Ohm's law. So V is equals to IR, R is equals to V over I is equals to V over R. Yan nyo lang. Just remember yung VIR and then you can derive equations for R and I from there. Para madali lang yung ma-remember an Ohm's law equation kasi VIR, BIR. Bureau of Internal Revenue. Ayan na lang yung i-remember ninyo yung sa Ohm's Law. And then madali namang i-derive kasi tatlong quantities lang yung involved. Okay, may tanong? Marina? Okay. So let's proceed to the next. Kung wala nang tanong, this is important kasi. Okay. I'm going to discuss also with you circuit. Okay, so ano yung circuit? So yung circuit, once you connect or plug in an appliance in an outlet, you're actually making a circuit, a complete circuit. Okay, circuit is a closed loop which provides for electrons or electric charges to flow. Another definition, it's any arrangement of materials that provide the flow of electrons. So yan ang circuit ha. Complete path ha. Loop. Closed loop. Ibig sabihin kapag hindi na siya closed loop, hindi na siya circuit. Kapag hindi makapag-flow yung electric current, yung complete path for electric current to flow, hindi mabigay yan, meaning hindi na siya circuit. So for circuit to be a circuit, kailangan niya ng the following parts. Okay, so simple circuit. Sa simple circuit, we have the source, wire, and load. So ito yung mga parts ng simple circuit. Okay, bakit siya tinawag na simple circuit? So isa lang yung kanyang load. It has a single load. So meron din tayong mga complex na circuits. It's a combination of different circuit connections. Okay, so circuit, the parts are the source. So ito, in this example, we have the battery. This supplies energy to the circuit. The wire, it serves as the pathway or ito yung pinaka-road for electric currents, for flowing electrons. And then the load. So yung load, yung kanyang main ano dyan is function, if it's a bulb, is to provide us light. So yung ginagawa, kung ito ay light, if it's flat iron, kapag ang load ay flat iron, so kailangan siyang makapag-provide ng heat para ma-flatten yung clothes natin. So if it is a radio, kailangan magtunog siya, mag-produce siya ng sound. Yan. So yung load converts electrical energy to other forms of energy. Depende kung ano yung klase nga load. Bulb, washing machine, so yung electric fans, blender, TV, so these are loads. Kino-convert nila yung electrical energy into other forms of energy. Okay, so there are two general types of circuit connection. We have series and parallel circuit connections. So dito sa una, this one here, it is a series circuit. Bakit siya tinawag na series? Okay, loads they're connected to each other. So as you can see here, agad yun ang ma-identify yung differences ng dalawang circuit connections dito. Okay, so in series, isa lang yung path, isa lang yung daanan ng electric current. Okay, isa lang. Whereas dito sa parallel, it offers more than one path for the electric current to flow. So bawat load may kalugaringan nga aragian or path for electric currents. Dito sa series, isa lang. Hindi mapupunta sa isang bulb kung hindi dadaan muna sa first bulb, making them dependent from each other. So the loads here, the bulbs, are dependent from each other. On the other hand, sa parallel, the loads are independent to each other. Walang kinalaman sa isa't isa. Wala silang pakialaman. They don't care for each other. Okay, so dito sa series, if one na busted, na punder, either of the two bulbs, makakat yung flow ng electric current. Hindi na magiging complete yung kanyang path ng electric current. So it mananabo ang circuit ay matatawag na open circuit. Kapag sinabing open circuit, cut off na yung flow ng electric current. Cut off na siya. Okay? So kapag ang isang bulb dito, ang isang load dito sa series circuit ay hindi gumana, the rest of the loads in that making them dependent. So they're very much dependent to each other. Okay, on the other hand, dito sa parallel, as I have said earlier, wala silang pakialaman sa isa't isa. So walang traffic. Pwede hiya kumadto ang current, pwede hiya kumadidide. So damit iaragian ang current. So kada load may kalugaringan aragian for the electric current. So kahit yung isa dyan hindi na gumana, the other load or the rest of the loads in that circuit are not affected. Kung tutulo or upat may tira padida, so diri hira affected kung mahibang an isa. Okay? Kung mahibang an isa. Okay, so aside from that, ano pa yung mga differences? Okay, ng series and parallel circuit connection. Okay, so which do you think glows brighter here? Granted na same bulb sira, parehas an ira wattage ini nga bulbs. Anduha connected in series, anduha connected in parallel. So which circuit would have a brighter bulbs? Sa series or sa parallel?
Parallel, ma'am.
Okay,
Parallel.
very good. Sa
Parallel.
parallel. Kay ano? Why do you think? Why is that? Okay, kilalanin na mas ano to? Ikilalan pa natin ang series connection and parallel connection. Sure. Share screen. Okay. So as you can see here, meron tayong series circuits. Dito tayo sa baba. Okay. So, nakikita niyo yung sinishare ko na screen? Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. So, yan. So, dito sa series, so tingnan mo, if one bulb is removed, the other two, hindi na siya mag-glow. Okay. Whereas this sa parallel, if one bulb is removed, still the two other bulbs nag-glow lagi hap. So, making them independent. So, dito independent, dito naman dependent. Okay, so in series, the voltage supplied by the source, so yung voltage supplied by the source is actually shared by the loads. Sinishare siya, dinidivide siya. Ayan. Okay. So yung total voltage, which is the voltage supplied by the source, ay hinahati-hati doon sa mga loads. Depende kung ilan yung kanilang resistance. So taas nga resistance, mamanda ka it voltage na iya required. Okay, so we have V1 plus V2 plus V3 and so on. So V1 is the voltage drop sa first load. V2 is the first voltage drop in the second load. Ito yung voltage sa second load. V3 is the voltage doon sa third load. So kapag i-add mo silang lahat, this would be equal to the total voltage or the voltage supplied by the source. Kung 12 volts yan na battery cell, equality kung i-add mo ang mga voltage drop han kada load, it will be equal to 12 volts. Okay, sa current naman, current sa series, okay, as you can see here, yan, pipiraan total current here, it's 2 amperes. So what's the current through first load or the I1? So it's 2 amperes gihap. Sa I2 or yung second load or the current through load number 2, it's 2 amperes, and load 3, yung current niya is also 2 amperes. Mag-arano? Mag-iriba, magpaprihas?
Paprehas.
Okay, magpaprihas. Regardless kung pera an ira resistance. Bisan mag-iba-iba ira resistance, magkaiba ira resistance dida, it ira current paprihas if they are connected in series. Okay? Okay, finding the total resistance. So pag find the total resistance in series circuit, so ito yung total resistance, you just add the resistance han kada load. Resistance on first load plus the resistance of in the second load and third load. So that would be equal to the total resistance of total resistance in series circuit. So kung natikada mo an load connected in series, so what happens to the resistance? What happens to the total resistance of the circuit? Kung magtikada mo didait aton load, matikada ka, matikaguti.
Matikagote.
Matikada.
Matikada.
Matikada ko.
Okay, so matikada ka. So the total resistance in series is R1, and resistance and load number 1 plus the resistance and load number 2 plus resistance and load number 3 plus resistance and load number 4 and so on and so forth. Kung pipiraman itira nga loads, asyay tiya. So natikada mo nga connected in series, natikada ko ang resistance han circuit. Ang circuit mismo ang bugos kabugusan nga circuit. Mamanda ka it resistance kung mamanda ka ang resistance han series circuit kung damo an iya loads. Okay? Again, yung common lang sa series is current, meaning paprihas sira ha. Take note of that. Okay, nandito yung rules, ha? We have the Ohm's law here. Ito yung rules. VT is V1 plus V2 plus V3 and so on. Ato na. Wait. Nakuha. Okay, yun ha. IT is I1 is equals to I2 is equals to I3. RT is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. So yun. Sa series yun ha. Okay, so let's have the parallel. Okay, provides more than one path for electric current or for electrons to flow. Okay. So voltage is common. So what is common doon sa parallel is the voltage. Okay? So kung ano ang voltage supplied by the source is equal. So this will be equal to the voltage across load number 1, across load number 2, or the voltage across load number 2, or voltage across load number 3. Paprihas hira. Okay, paprihas an ira voltage. Okay, ito na yung sagot kung bakit yung doon sa yung bulbs doon sa parallel ay mas brighter compared doon sa mga bulbs connected in series. Kasi yung kanilang voltage individually ay bigger compared kung naka-series sira. Kasi kung naka-series sira, i-divide nira ang voltage hakada usa. Whereas dito sa parallel, paprihas an ira voltage equal ngadto han voltage han source supplied by the source. That's why bulbs are more bright in parallel compared in series. Okay, so the total current in parallel connection, so this will be equal to the current through load number 1, the current through load number 2, plus the current through load number 3, and so on. Ang current, diri magpaprihas na. Ano magparihas? Ang voltage. So that resistance, the total resistance, so yung pag-compute ng total resistance, that is 1 over RT. 1 over RT, or sa factor siya. 1 over RT is equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2 plus 1 over R3, and so on. So if we are going to add more loads in parallel, what do you think will happen to the total resistance of the circuit? Madako, maguti. Dako, guti. Using this equation, if you are going to get the total resistance of parallel circuit, ano hiya? Dako, guti. In series, it's RT is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3, and so on and so forth. So, kung natikada mo ang loads connected in series, mas natikada ko ang total resistance han circuit, han series circuit. Didi naman ha parallel, opposite yung nangyayari. If loads are connected in parallel, the total resistance of the circuit becomes lower. Matikaguti ang resistance ng circuit. So if that happens, kapag nangyari yan, it mananabo heat electric current, and total amount of electric current in the parallel circuit, matika dako. Kasi ang resistance matika guti man, di ba? So kung ang resistance gumuti, same la ang iya voltage, kaya di man nag-change ang voltage. So same ang voltage, ang resistance nga ni gumuti, ang mananabuhan current, maano? Mahataas. Okay, ma-increase siya, ma-increase. So is it advisable for you to have a more parallel circuit?
Yes.
Is it yes? Octopus wiring is one of a parallel circuit connection. Parallel siya. Yung octopus wiring. Nakukonect ka dito and then kukonect. Actually, it's a mix of series and parallel. Ano na siya, pero it's more on parallel kasi isa yung kanilang connect, yung i-connect, parang isa yung outlet or isang extension wire man yan, and then connect ka dyan, connect. So, and they are independent actually to one another, the loads, and then kukonect ka na naman ng extension wire sa outlet, sa extension wire na yan, ng another extension wire, and doon sa iba, magkukonect ka na naman. So that's octopus wiring. So kapag nangyayari yan, the resistance ay bumababa, nagdra-drop yung resistance. Pag nag-drop yung resistance ng circuit, automatic si current tataas. So current, ito yung mga electrons ha, mga electrons yan. And then yung wires natin, yung mga wires, meron lang silang safety limit kung ilan yung kanilang current na papaagian. So kapag nag-go beyond the haniya limit, haniya safety limit, ang mananabo, kasi yung mga electric current nakikipag-collision, nakikipag-collide yan doon sa mga atoms ng material. So kapag more yung collisions, anit na generate. It generates what? Heat. Okay? Mag-generate siya ng heat. So mandamo, it heat nga maproproduce. So it mananabo. An imo wire, kung wire man itiya, kung an wire masyadong ano niya resistance, magpaso, ngayon magiha nga paso, napabay anim nga paso, so magli-lead ito sa ano, sunog. Masusunog. Ala. Malix na nakuan ak. Naka.
Ha? Direk nagkakabati.
Recording stopped.
Nag-ano na. She's Lynette host.
Yeah, correct host.
Teacher Jesslyn, ano nang gagawin natin ngayon?
Si ma'am.
Sige, pwede yan.
Yan din na.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Recording in
Sorry
progress.
for that. You're connect. Okay. Nakita anak niyo? Okay na?
Yes,
nawara
ma'am.
sorry.
Yes po.
Nawara
Opo,
ang ano?
ma'am. Kita na.
Okay, halahay na at. Asa na yung share screen? Where is it? Okay. Okay, hay nakitahat. So kung more parallel ang circuit and resistance,
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
balik na lang dito. Wala ko pa daman. O, di dinala. Okay. So, if your circuit is too parallel, resistance of that circuit becomes lower or na gumuti. Very least na yung kanyang resistance. So, ang mayayari, the current will increase. Okay? So, kung ang bulb, nag-go beyond ang current ka nag-flow ha iya, nag-go beyond na iya limit, kasi may adalahit mga bulbs nga tag 1.5 milliamperes la. So kapag mamanda ka han 1.5 milliampere nga current ano magiha iya, it mananabo, mapupunder hiya, mabuto hiya. Okay? Mali, saan? Ano, wala ko ka-share. Sorry. Kanya rin ko naka-share na.
Share.
Okay. Yan. Okay. So, ayan natin. Let's say yung sandali. Ano ba yun? Okay. Let's say yung bulb number 1 has 10 ohm resistance. Paki-note na lang sa paper ninyo if you have notebooks or something pwede kang magsulat. Okay, yung bulb number 1 may 10 ohms resistance. 10 ohms resistance. And then bulb number 2, 5 ohms resistance. May the resistance nga 5 ohms. So if we are going to take the overall resistance of the circuit, mapirahiya, RT is R1 plus R2. Ibig sabihin, that would
15,
be
15 ohms.
15.
okay, 15 ohms. Okay, 15 ohms yun. If we are going to connect that in parallel, ipaparallel yan. If they're connected in parallel, the overall resistance of that circuit would be, that's 1 over RT is equals to 1 over R1 plus 1 over R2. Meaning, 1 over RT is equals to 1 over 10 ohms plus 1 over 5 ohms. That's how to get the total resistance. Take note, that's still 1 over RT, ha? So 1 over RT is 1 over 10 ohms plus 1 over 5 ohms. Okay, that's fraction, right? So how do you get the sum of those two fractions? 1/10 plus 1/5. 1/10 plus 1/5 pira. So you have to factor out, get the least common factor pira, or least common denominator. Mapira. 1/10 plus 1/5 pira.
115.
Pira, 115. Ala.
2/10.
3 over 10.
Okay, so that
3
is
over 10.
pira?
3 over 10.
3 over 10. Okay, so that's 3 over 10. O 3 over 10 is 3 over 10 pa tiya. So 3 over 10, pera na may tiya reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of 3 over 10?
10 over
Okay, so
3.
10 over 3, pira, 10 over 3. It's 3.33. Oh, if we are going to apply the number of significant figures, so pipira and final answer.
3 ohms.
3. Okay, so 3 ohms. So see, if we are going to connect the bulbs na may resistance na 10 ohms and 5 ohms respectively in series, ang total resistance is 15 ohms. If we are going to connect them in parallel, the total resistance is just only 3 ohms. O diba? Mas ginuti ang resistance, mas guti ang resistance ang parallel kesahan series. Questions? Okay. Saka na natin i-elaborate ang computations sa series and parallel connections. Sa higher grade level yun na. Bangin lugod dumiri na kamuhit. Hit science, hit physics. So hanggang sa Ohm's law lang muna tayo. So yung anira mga kumbaga physical characteristics and circuit laan importante the difference. Again, series provides a single path for electric current to flow in the circuit, while parallel provides more path for electric current to flow. Okay? In terms of loads in series connection are independent to each other, while in parallel, loads are independent to each other. Okay. May yada pa ki Ana? Question or clarifications? Oray na? Okay. I forgot to make an evaluation. Itakan evaluation, isi-send ko na la through hit kan Ma'am Libet, kan may danat niyo Google Classroom in Science? Do you have a Google Classroom in Science?
No.
Wala pa.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay, sige. Evaluation will be done next meeting, next online class. So, if hindi kami masyadong busy next week, mag-online class na naman tayo on Friday next week. So, first few minutes will be allocated to the evaluations in our today's lesson. Is it okay? Okay ba?
Opo.
Okay,
Yes
sige.
po, ma'am.
Waray na pakiana. Waray niyo pakiana.
No, ma'am.
Waray na questions regarding Han Ohm's law.
Reyna.
Waray na. Okay, hala. Sige. Sige daw. If we double the granted that the resistance is constant. Constant yung resistance. If we double the voltage, what happens to electric current? Kung i-double natin si voltage, ano ang mangyayari sa electric current? Ano yung mangyayari sa value ng electric current?
Ma-double dama.
Ma-double, ma'am.
Okay, ma-double gihap. Correct. If we double the voltage and the resistance, i-double natin yung voltage and we will also double the resistance. So what will happen to the electric current? Mag-increase ba?
Same.
Decrease? Same.
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 Okay, same.
Same.
Electric current stays the same. Correct. Madali lang. If voltage is constant ha, we decrease the resistance by, we decrease the resistance 4 times. What will happen to the value of the electric current?
Stronger.
Huh?
Higher.
Decrease by how much?
4 times.
4 times.
4 times an ano?
Electric current.
If we decrease the resistance 4 times, what will happen to the value of the electric current? Granted that the voltage is constant, the same yung voltage.
It will increase.
Increase.
Okay, very
in 4
good.
times.
The current will increase 4 times. Then, kasi yung kanilang relationship is inversely proportional. So whatever is the increase, is the decrease of the independent variable is the same amount of the increase of the dependent variable, which is the electric current. Okay. Tanong, bakit yung mga birds na naka-ano sa mga electrical wires, hindi sila na-electrocute? Hindi sila nakukuryente doon sa mga transmission lines kahit sila nakadapo sa mga transmission lines. Meron bang current?
Yes.
Doon? Okay.
Yeah.
May ada current. Again, para may ada current, kailangan may ada voltage. So, yung sa mga connecting wires, kailangan may dalawang wires. Okay, the positive and negative. So, kung isa lang, so it could not provide a path for electric current. So, hindi ka ma-electrocute. Pero kung dalawang wires or you are standing on the ground na grounded ka, ay yadakhang kuan, floor and wala kang insulation na ano, kapag kahit isa lang na butas ng outlet or socket yung ano mo, makukuryente ka lagihap ha, makukuryente ka kasi makakapag-provide hiyahin path for electric current to flow from that part sa outlet to the ground. So yung ano naman, yung flow is from the outlet to the ground. So makukuryente ka. Okay, yung mga birds doon sa mga transmission lines, hindi sila nakukuryente kasi nasa isang wire lang sila. Okay? Pero kapag ikaw, nandito ka sa baba, you're on the ground and then kapag inano mo yung live wire doon ng stick or pole, ayan, magkakapag-provide yon ng voltage. May the potential difference. So yung charges doon ay hindi equal sa mga charges na nandito sa ground. Take note, yung grounds provides also electric charges. So kapag less negative yung ground and more positive doon, magkakaroon ng flow ng electrons. Okay, magma-flow ang electrons. So may electric current, makukuryente ka. If it happens na nandun ka nakatouch sa more negative, if it's more negative and the ground is more positive, yan, that's potential difference na naman. So it will provide electrons to flow for electric currents to exist. So makukuryente ka. So yung mga birds, nandun lang sila sa wire. Hindi ito lahiran na sa wire. So walang potential difference, kumbaga yada lahirahan ubos lahira positive, wala talagang potential difference, walang voltage. Hindi 'yon ang reason kung bakit hindi sila na i-electrocute. Okay? Sige. Kung wala nang tanong, waray na talaga Pakiana, or did you learn something from our lesson this morning?
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, sige. Ay,
Yes po,
salamat.
ma'am.
May dagihap. May dagihap na ibaruan. Okay, so if there are questions, do not hesitate to message me or kung nahiya kayong magtanong dito sa online class, so pwede kayo mag-directly PM haak or mag-video call using yung messenger na application. Okay lang, ha? Pero kapag hindi ko na sasagot agad yung mga messages ninyo kasi yung reason ay sobrang busy talaga kami. Pero okay lang kayo at least mag-try kayo mag-reach out sa akin if you have something to ask regarding the lesson. At kapag hindi talaga ako busy, ma-aanseran ta kamo ha. I'm here to answer your queries regarding the lesson or on ano man, ha? Basta regarding itatong topic. Okay? So kung wala nang tanong, I will call it a day. But remember, next meeting, first few minutes, may evaluation tayo. Nakulangan lang talaga ako ng time. Mag-prepare ng evaluation. Yes.
Sana po exactly itong evaluation para hene?
Okay, ihiparahin eh. So, if mag-schedule ako 9 o'clock, mga 9 o'clock, same lagi ha, Friday. Parang kasi asya may libre ka mo, hit Friday. Iba nga days, mga loaded ada kami online class. So, I preferred Friday na schedule. So, kapag 9 a.m., pag schedule ko na 9 a.m., mga 15 minutes, so 9 to 9:15 ay allocated sa ating evaluation. Okay? So yung iba, pwede nala, sana naman maka-early at maka-in, hit atin meeting, Zoom meeting para ngatanan kita diretso makapag-start at exactly 9 a.m. Oh, nag-ground out na yun. Hala, chop. Okay, yung pagiging choppy natin ay daray talaga hitaten weather yan na medyo kuan marat dati at panahon. So, expect na yung internet connection natin ay hindi talaga stable. Okay. Sige, kunwaray na pakiana, I will end this class. Kunwaray na. Kung may da pa, sige. You can ask. Kunwaray na. Okay, sige. Let's call it a day and have a blessed day ahead.
Bye, ma'am.
Goodbye.
Thank you po, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Goodbye po.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye po, ma'am. Thank you.
Record.